From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Daryl Clark. Stephanie Woodard has the evening off. Our first story tonight, we reported yesterday that the tuition assistance program for the military had been reinstated. Now, just a few days before that, it had been announced that the program would be cut because of sequestration. Well, today, the Pentagon said the previously announced furlough of civilian employees would be eased. Originally set at 22 days, the furloughs will now be 14 days. Under the new plan, the unpaid furloughs would not begin until mid-June, with notices going out before that. The Alaska Oil and Gas Association, or OAGA, is raising concerns with Governor Sean Parnell's plan to overhaul the state's oil tax structure. Now, the trade group's executive director, Kara Moriarty, was in Fairbanks today with representatives of the oil companies. Moriarty said her group supports part of what Parnell is proposing, including elimination of the surcharge and a tax break from oil from new fields. But she said it has concerns with changes to some of the tax credits and sees the plan as a tax increase when oil prices are lower.
Well, Senate Bill 21 is in House Resources Committee, and so with 17 days left in the session, we're hopeful that they'll make some additional changes to the bill. It's a really, it has a good structure to it in place, but we think with some additional changes, it will encourage additional investment down the road.
Events bringing awareness to domestic violence and sexual assault kicked off in communities throughout Alaska today. Now, the local rally titled Choose Respect took place at the Golden Heart Plaza. The events were organized by Governor Sean Parnell's administration and the Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. Law enforcement officials and advocates were on hand this afternoon, challenging Alaskans to step up and choose respect to end crimes that damage the state, families, children, communities, and cultures.
Absolutely. It's never been funny. Domestic violence has never been a funny subject. It's always been something serious, but society is beginning to change, and that's what we need to change. We need to change society so that society will not stand for this anymore. And we're coming closer and closer, although we have a lot of work to do. We need everyone.
The News Center will have more on this story this weekend during the Saturday editions of the Fairbanks Evening News and News Center Final. For the second time this week, a local resident in a high-profile criminal case has gone against plans to strike a plea deal with prosecutors and will go to trial in his case. Earlier today, 18-year-old Christian Andrew Williams had been scheduled to plead guilty to a single count of felony assault in the first degree in exchange for a 13-year prison term. Williams told Judge Paul Lyle that he wants to go to trial in the case instead. Williams is charged with 2 counts of first-degree attempted murder and a single count of evidence tampering. Williams is accused of shooting 19-year-old Devontae Woods and 18-year-old Elijah Quint outside an apartment in Hamilton Acres last July 21st. Trial is scheduled for the week of May 27th. Well, a young woman remains in critical condition with a gunshot wound to the head after a shooting that took place late Monday afternoon in West Fairbanks off Geist Road. Family members say 18-year-old Teal Diaz remains on life support at Alaska Native Medical Center in Anchorage. According to Alaska State Troopers, the incident reportedly occurred at a condominium on Fairbanks Street, and troopers say that 3 other individuals were present when the shooting occurred. Troopers are continuing their investigation into the case, and no one is in custody at this time. Late today, the News Center spoke exclusively with Darlene Herbert, a relative to the young woman. Herbert gave an update on her and her condition.
Well, she's not in stable condition. She's still in critical condition, and we're just going day by day. She's well, right now she's they paralyze her body, and because she has too much tremors. But today they pinch her arm, so she had a reflex on that. So that's a good sign.
Family members of Teal say a fund has been set up in her name in order to help with expenses. They say those willing to donate funds can do so at any Alaska USA credit union under the name Teal Diaz. Well, when we come back, the state will honor Vietnam veterans with their own state holiday. Also, the Tanana Valley State Fair Association unveils this year's theme. Stay with us.
This edition of the Fairbanks Morning News is brought to you by Holy Dog Pet Boarding, top quality pet boarding in the interior, and by Idea Homeschool.
And welcome back. Jury selection and opening statements began today in the civil trial involving two former Fairbanks City police officers, and they will claim they were improperly fired. Now, the case dates back to 2008. Former Lieutenant Doug Wharton and Officer Al Hutton are seeking compensation for lost wages and benefits, as well as punitive damages. They argue they were dismissed in retaliation for going to former Fairbanks City Mayor Terry Sturl in 2008 to talk about workplace safety, union business, and nepotism in the department. The jury trial is expected to last at least 2 weeks at the Fairbanks Federal Building Courthouse. In Juneau this morning, one of the topics of discussion was federal overreach and how to deal with it. There are frequent disagreements between the state and federal government over who has the right to do what on which lands. Most of Alaska is federal land, but there are a lot of gray areas on control because of things like treaties. The House State Affairs Committee is looking at a House concurrent resolution that would call for a formation of a group to deal with the issue and report to the legislature.
We basically have now a clearinghouse that's going to come through the legislature so we can look at and decide what issues that we want to take on in a really good streamlined way of communicating to all 60 members of the body when something is happening in Alaska's land by the federal government, which we can either comment on, we can encourage the AG to take legal action on, or we can just start a letter writing campaign.
Tomorrow morning, beginning at 10 a.m., local organizers will hold court at the old University Park Elementary School for a good cause. They'll be encouraging citizens to join the Bone Marrow Registry. Thousands of patients depend on the Match Registry in hopes of finding a donor that could possibly give them a second chance at life. Tomorrow, Bone Marrow Drive goes until 3 p.m. and also will be held Saturday as well. Longtime Interior resident Alan Mitchell explains.
Marrow transplants can be done two different ways. It can be done just by recycling the blood. You'll get attached and they kind of like recycle it. And then the other way is doing what most people know is you get the shot in the hip and they pull right out of the bone marrow itself. But that little bit, just that little effort right there can give somebody 2 years, 5 years, 7 years of life.
Mitchell says active duty military soldiers are not permitted to participate in the Bone Marrow Drive without first contacting their base health professional first. The News Center will have more on this story this weekend. Well, even though the Tanana Valley State Fair will not kick off for another 5 months, activity around the fairgrounds is picking up. Tonight, the general manager for the Tanana Valley State Fair announced to the public this year's catchphrase or theme. Salmon-chanted evening will be adorning shirts, posters, and other items to advertise the biggest summer event for the interior. Also, it was announced that thanks to a $750,000 grant from the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, the fairgrounds walkways and midway will be asphalt covered. But everyone agreed this year's unique phrase will be on everyone's mind come August.
How this came about was they had went to the community to get different ideas for the theme for this year's fair, and a local artist had come into the fair office one day and gave a really good idea, one of the ideas that was put on a list that was put on our Facebook page, and it was voted on by the community. And so the one that was chosen that we'll be unveiling tonight is the one that had won that contest.
It was also announced that due to popular vote, this year's fireworks display will take place on the last night at the fair at 11 p.m. Back in January, we talked with Hank Bartos about an effort to get Vietnam veterans recognized. News Center 11's Monty Bowen reports the effort came to fruition yesterday.
Hank Bartos and Joe Fields, both Vietnam veterans, serve on the Governor's Veterans Advisory Council. During the past legislative session, they were working with lawmakers on a number of veterans issues. One was to set a day aside to honor Vietnam vets.
There's a resolution supporting Welcome Home Vietnam veterans. Now, both Joe Fields and I are veterans, as are you, Monty, and therefore we're going to have a celebration. Steve Thompson has sponsored a bill to enable that to happen.
Anyone who served in Southeast Asia in the 60s or early 70s saw a whole different attitude about their service.
We never received any welcome home benefits No crowds, cheers, only your family was glad to see you.
The bill to set a Vietnam Veterans Day was originally introduced by former Representative Bill Thomas. It was signed into law by Governor Sean Parnell yesterday.
I feel humbled because this is a long time coming.
Bartos was given a dog tag by the governor after the ceremony yesterday that reads, "Welcome home." Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
Joe Cook joins me now, and as we head into the weekends, a lot of sports to cover, or is it kind of quaint right now?
I'm learning it's getting a little quaint, you know, after basketball season, but hockey is still going on. Sure. The Ice Dogs, they're back at home for their last regular season games, and they face a familiar opponent, the Kenai Brown Bears, and plus some local rec sports opportunities coming up. You can find out what they are next in sports. Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the sports seat for you this evening. Hope your day has been going well. And now let's get to some sports. Your Ice Dogs had a memorable 9-game winning streak snapped in Soldotna in their last outing against the Brown Bears, dropping their last 2 games. But now the Ice Dogs are back in the Big Dipper for the last 2 regular season games, facing off with the Brown Bears again with the Era Alaska Cup on the line. The 16-game series is tied at 7 games, but the Ice Dogs are 22-6 at home. Add in that the Ice Dogs are still in the hunt for the West Division lead. The Wenatchee Wild are on the road for their last 2 games against Fresno. Only 2 points separate the Wild and Fairbanks, 82-80 in the division. If the Ice Dogs tie with the Wild, they will get the division title because Fairbanks owns the tiebreaker with more regular season wins and will host Fresno in the first round of the playoffs. If the Ice Dogs finish in second, they'll see Kenai once again in the playoffs. The Ice Dogs realize the importance of these last 2 games, but it's just back to the basics for the squad.
Keep working hard, doing the things we're doing that made us successful. Like, it was a little bit of a roller coaster the last couple weeks, grabbing first place and then kind of trying to hold on to it. But we don't have that pressure anymore, so hopefully that'll help. But it's been fun. We've been trying to just get back to the things that got us there in the first place. So just all over the ice, we just got to make plays, make the plays, whether it's getting pucks out of our zone or getting pucks into their zone. Just little things all over the ice. Just execute everything better, and it'll be good.
Last week down in Kenai, we did not have any energy. Like, we couldn't generate any sort of energy whatsoever. So it's important for us this weekend, just knowing that we're going to make mistakes, but let's make sure we're making them at a 100% max effort, and the chips will fall where they lie. But let's get back to dictating the pace of play by being excited to play.
And staying with hockey a bit, the Nanooks are under renovations for a new locker room area in the Carlson Center. The process is slated to take about 6 months and be unveiled in September. The Nanooks will be getting new locker rooms, offices, a training room, and meeting rooms as well. About $4 million has been provided by the state of Alaska, as area teams will also use the new facilities for practices, games, and other events. The Face-Off Club and the hockey team are trying to raise $100,000 to help with the cost of this project. If you want to chip in with the Face-Off Club and the hockey team, go to webcenter11.com sports page for more information. And this weekend up on Birch Hill, as skiing season is drawing to a close, the kids can make their mark on the trail this weekend in the ConocoPhillips Interior Youth Championships. The age ranges for this championship event are youngsters born 1997 and after. The event starts this Saturday at 10 a.m. with the interval start at noon. There will be a 100-meter dash classic sprint, and at 2:30 a freestyle ski. On the day of the race, entry fees are $10 for one race and just $20 for 2 or 3 races. You can get a registration form at the Nordic Ski Club site, or you can go to webcenter11.com for more information on this event as well. And now for the older folks who want to do their best impression of Forrest Gump, not the box of chocolates line, I'm talking the table tennis. You can sign up for the 3rd annual Jerry Smith Alaska Hard Bat Championships. That's April 4th and 5th. Fairbanks Interior Table Tennis is putting on this event in the Patty Center. Now, hard bat is a little different from table tennis in a sense. Hard bat paddles don't have the spongy layer on traditional table tennis rackets. There will be limited doubles and open doubles events along with recreational singles, A and B singles, and open events. Open singles are for those serious Forrest Gumper types at the advanced level, and recreational singles are for those who just love the game. The deadline to register is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Friday. Proceeds of the event will go to the American Diabetes Association in honor of Jerry Smith, who passed away in 2009. For more info and links, go to webcenter11.com sports page. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. For more KTVF Sports, just go to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and our mobile app. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into Fairbanks Evening News for a Thursday. Beautiful day across the interior, lots of sunshine, and temperatures warmed up to over freezing today, and we're looking at temperatures even warmer tomorrow. Let's start off with our photograph for tonight. This one's sent in by Carmen Leonelli. Morning sun rays. This was out near Allison Air Force Base. Look at these concentric circles there, or the half circle around the sun. Really beautiful shot, and then even further up, another nice shot there, too. If you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. Here's what's going on out at the airport right now. 32 degrees, freezing. Our low last night, 26 below. One more night of cold air last night, not tonight. 53 in 1940 for the record high, 37 below in 1925. Sunrise and sunset, 13 hours and 13 minutes of daylight, a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Here's our satellite picture. A lot of energy moving across south of the Alaska Range, but that's where it's going to stay. This storm system here moving across over southeast Alaska. All of this is going to remain south of the Alaska Range because high pressure is building in, and it's going to keep all the storms from moving into the Fairbanks area. We'll get some residual cloudiness moving in, but that's about it. What's going on across the rest of the state right now? Looks like some showers over around Kodiak Island, cloudy skies at Anchorage, nice weather across southeast Alaska, cloudy skies all up and down the western side of the state. Sunshine around Barrow, the same for Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather, we'll start off with the Pacific Northwest and show you that things are looking pretty good around Seattle, 61 degrees there. Portland, 67 degrees. All the way across the country over to the northeast, some showers around the Nashville area, and a few sprinkles around New York also. To the southeast we go. Things looking pretty good over the southeast. Then you move back into the deep south around Dallas. They're looking at showers and thunderstorms there. And out to the west, really nice weather. Lots of sunshine around Phoenix, 88 degrees. As far as our satellite and radar is concerned, you can see we're looking at a pretty good band of moisture moving across the Texas areas. That's bringing the showers and thunderstorms. Not too real organized systems out to the west, so things look pretty good for the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, for Easter Sunday, looks like some showers over the west coast. Cold temperatures coming in from Canada once again, and then more rain over the eastern side of the country. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow for the northern sections. Partly cloudy in Barrow, snow in Nome, the area, and cloudy skies for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, not too bad. Nice day in Fairbanks. Winds increasing near Healy. Could be up to 45 miles an hour. Keep that in mind. Over southeast Alaska, mostly cloudy for Juneau, but partly cloudy skies in Ketchikan. And over to the southwest, we're looking at rain and snow for Cold Bay, rain in Kodiak, and cloudy skies at Bethel. And in the south central regions, looks like some snow showers in Anchorage, rain and snow at Homer, and 6 to 12 inches for Valdez. Okay, one more time this week for our kids' weather. This week we've been talking with the kids from Arctic Light Elementary School, but tonight we'll hear from the teacher.
Hello, my name is Mr. Cromer, and this is my third grade class here at Arctic Light, and we have a weather fact to share with you. Class, did you know that a hurricane is so powerful that energy from the storm could power the entire United States for 3 years?
Next week, we'll visit with the kids from Ann Ween Elementary School. One quick look at our road conditions. Oh, I guess we're going to talk about road conditions. We're going to go through our kids' weather again, accidentally. All right, anyway, our forecast for tonight is looking pretty good. As you can see here, we're looking at 2 degrees below zero, much warmer than last night, increasing high clouds into the morning hours. Tomorrow's forecast, 32 degrees, considerably warmer with continued cloudy skies and the 5-day outlook. You got to love it. Temperatures right around the upper 30s each day, and a chance of some snow showers for Sunday. Maybe, and then Wednesday, it looks like another better chance of snow shower activity there. And of course, the overnight lows will be once again very mild into the 10 to 12 degree category. Pretty nice for this time heading into Easter.
You know, you can always tell the half glass full people and the optimists and the pessimists, because at 32, some people say freezing, I say melting.
Yeah, I've noticed a difference. I mean, 35, 37, that's
well, the roads are getting pretty nasty out there, and it's going to get worse for the next couple of days because of the warmth.
Keep that in mind. On people. Yes, absolutely. That'd be great. Thanks, Mike. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we're glad you could join us.
And tonight on NBC Nightly News, President Obama's emotional speech on gun control, or where things stand in Washington on changing gun rules. That's next with Brian Williams.
All right, and when you see news happening, please give us a call here at the News Center, 458-1830.
Going to leave you with a shot of Creamer's Field, looking for the geese to come in. Who knows? They might come in this weekend. That will do it from all of us here at the News Center. Have a good night.